What's up, gang? It's your boy Garland here, aka the King of Bad Takes. You're watching Worst Take. The other day, I went over my top 100 albums that I have ever listened to. So today, I found it fitting to go over the worst albums I've ever listened to. In fact, I have 25 albums for you guys lined up in order from not the worst all the way down to the worst. But trust me, all of these albums are really, really bad, and I don't recommend you go listen to any of them unless you really want something to laugh at. Just as a benchmark for you guys, all these albums I have rated at an 18 or lower. And 18, of course, being scaled out of 100. In all actuality, most people would rate these at a 2 or a 1 or lower. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. With number 25, I have Eminem's Music to be Murdered By. This album sucks. I think people are coping if they think that this is good. I think it's slightly better than Eminem's other recent work. It's just another album where Eminem is an old man rapping about getting his woohooed by a bunch of women that I'm sure are gross and old. And listen, man, I'm glad you're still fulfilling your desires even at your ripe old age. But I don't want to hear it. That's really gross. It makes me think of like parents and stuff. That's just really disgusting. I don't like how you rap about it. It just feels very awkward, and it makes me cringe. This album makes me cringe. And I think that a lot of the lyrical miracle on this album is also way overdone. So overall, this is a really bad album, Mr. Eminem. I'm very disappointed in you. At number 24, I have Lou Reed's Lulu. Now, I think that this album gets maybe a little bit too much hate. I know I have this in my 25 worst albums I've ever heard list, but I think that this is really not that bad. I think that there is some things to be taken away from here. I think that the main issue is actually just Metallica in this album. A lot of people think it's Lou Reed, but I actually don't think so. I think that Lou Reed's poetry and spoken word is actually quite interesting on here and could probably work better if the drummer for Metallica wasn't such a piece of shit and played the same beat every single song, and it sounds terrible. So I'm going to say that this album, the fault for why this is bad, lies primarily on Metallica. I don't think that they really blended together all too well, but I think that I would have really enjoyed the idea behind this poetic spoken word metal album featuring Lou Reed as a primary vocalist. I think that that idea as a concept is really cool, so that's why I don't think that this is that bad of an album. At number 23, I have Mac Miller's Blue Slide Park. This is a big disappointment for me because I'm a big Mac Miller fan, so I hate to put this album on here, but sadly it does have to be done. This was not good. This was before Mac Miller really caught his stride and really started experimenting and going into his own direction as an artist. This was very like frat boy rap, and in general, this is just kind of corny. I do think that there's some good takeaways on this album, a few songs here and there, but overall it's just too long, and I think that this one really falls underneath the mark. At number 22, I have Disturbed with The Sickness. This one is terrible as well. This is just a really bad attempt at making nu metal work. I don't even think that the title track of this song is even good. I think that that is just a corny Korn ripoff. See what I did there? Yeah, this was just not good. It just totally missed the mark. Instrumentally, there's just nothing unique going on. It feels like a dude named Kyle who drinks Monster Energy and punches his wall and gets mad at his mom for telling him to pause the online game because his chicken nuggets are ready. That's what this album gives me. That's the type of energy I'm getting from this. This is just not good. At number 21, I have Eminem again with Kamikaze. Yeah, this one also is terrible. Mainly because the music is bad, but also for the secondary reason that he's dissing a bunch of rappers who did nothing wrong, like Earl Sweatshirt and Tyler, the Creator. And just because they said, Eminem, we didn't fuck with Revival, which, funny enough, I don't think anybody did, as you'll see later on in this list. And Eminem got a little bit butthurt, so he decided to throw a bunch of shots and prove that he's the best rapper alive still. And this is just again, it's corny. This is corny as hell. I think that there's like maybe one or two good songs here, that being Lucky You and Not Alike. But I think that those do not save this really bad album, where the rest of it just instrumentally falls completely flat. There's a lot of horrible samples on here, a lot of actually subpar rapping, and that really ear-grating staccato flow that Eminem seems to bring to the table in the late 2010 era. So, yeah, again, this is just not a good album. I have it as my 21st worst album I ever listened to. So at number 20, I have a bit of a weird take here. I have Aesop Rock's debut, Float. I think that this is just doing too much. This is one of those albums that it's kind of hard to really rate it because it's super underground, it's super low production, it's lo-fi, but I just did not enjoy it at all. I really thought that he's just doing way too much. It's too technical, right? His flows are so complicated, the rhyme schemes are so complicated that it all misses the mark, in my opinion, entirely on making good, enjoyable music, right? He's just rapping, and I'm spitting, and I'm lyrical, and my flow switching, and it just misses the mark. I don't think that there's really any good songs on here. The only thing keeping this album from being lower to me is that it is very impressive what he's able to pull off with his vocals here. But I think that it just doesn't come together to make good music. I think that that is more important than whether or not you're the most talented or technical rapper. And I think that's a pretty consistent theme in a lot of these albums that I dislike. So at number 19, I actually have Taylor Swift's newest album, Tortured Poets Department. This is another one that is just, the lyrics on here are just terrible. I mean, you can find compilations on TikTok, whatever you want to look at, and it's all true, right? Those aren't over exaggerations. It's every single second of this album, you are the tortured one sitting inside this poet's department. I also just really dislike this whole idea that Taylor Swift is victimizing herself when she's a multi-millionaire who chooses to be a musician, chooses to be an artist, chooses to be in the spotlight, and she plays it off as if she is being attacked for that, which is just like insane, right? She's an ultra elite person in this country who really has no right to be labeling herself as a victim here. And this is why this album just comes off so corny to me. I really do think that this was a total miss by her. At number 18, I have Dreezy's Skitso. This album, I was kind of excited going into this because I actually really do like a lot of Dreezy features. She's a lesser known female rapper, but this just totally missed the mark. The production on here is just awful. It's atrocious. There's a lot of bad rapping on here. It just really isn't that good. I do think that there's a couple songs here and there again that do bring some good aspects to the table, but in general, this is just not a very well put together project. At number 17, I have Lil Baby's Too Hard. This is sleepy time music. I listen to this to fall asleep. It gives me great dreams, sweet dreams. It doesn't go hard. It's not too hard at all. It's too soft. It makes me feel like a little baby when I'm dozing off to this. And I just think that there could have been so much more here. Some of the features are good, and some of the features are just terrible. I'm looking at you, Gunna. I'm looking at you, Moneybag. This is just a really, really rough listen. And then you get Freestyle, which is, where did this come from? It doesn't even feel like it fits on the album because it's so energetic and so good. But yeah, I think that this is a total miss by Lil Baby here. At number 16, I have Future's Pluto. This album sounds exactly like what the cover looks like, which, that might be a good thing if the cover was good, but the cover, it just screams like 2010, 2012, and like, I don't know, it reminds me of like Tron Legacy. Just not good. This is like Future's attempt at getting into the mainstream with his club music. There's a few hits on here, mainly the one with Drake. But in general, this is just a very lame project. There's hardly any good vocal performances, which is something that I typically expect from Future. A lot of the production is shaky too. This is just not a very good album. At number 15, I have Imagine Dragons' Night Visions. This is one of the weirdest and most just insanely trippy back and forth albums I've ever heard in my life. Honestly, this one I really recommend you guys listen to if you haven't already listened to it all the way through, because it is hilarious. There are moments on this album where like they just like they take themselves so seriously, and then they just like switch it up in the most hilarious fashion. It's so bad. It just switches from like this super serious piano song that's really bad, by the way, and then it just is like boom, 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 Imagine Dragons style, and this like electronic EDM, like we gotta go hard now, we gotta get that adrenaline pumping, hit that dopamine spike. It just is super hilarious how this album kind of flows together, because it doesn't flow together. So this is one of the funniest albums I've ever listened to. I highly, highly recommend you guys give it a try. At number 14, I have 21 Savage's Slaughter King. 21 Savage discography review is going to be out in the following days. In summary, Slaughter King is not good. It's very boring. Doesn't sound good at all. There's really bad production here. 21 Savage, I don't even know what he's doing. He's like squeaky on this album. It just isn't very good. Yeah, I don't like this one at all. I go more in depth in my discography review, so be sure to subscribe to get notifications when that comes out, so you guys can stay up to date with all of my upcoming videos. At number 13, I have AC/DC with High Voltage. This is the oldest album on this list. It's actually it's one of only 2 albums to come out before the year 2000. This was just not good. I kind of went into this album with a predisposition against AC/DC. Never really liked a lot of their more popular songs, so I was hoping that maybe there was something that I was missing with this. But no, this was just terrible. This was like the corniest, like, I'm going to be a rock star. I want to be a rock star. I can't wait to get my guitar. Like, Jesus, man. It's so like it's almost like pandering at this point. It's so bad. It just is like the most watered down rock and roll I've ever heard in my life. This is really just an embarrassment to the genre. I really do think that AC/DC's High Voltage is one of the worst albums I've ever heard. There's maybe one song on here, and that's I Got the Jack, that I think is playable. Other than that, I think that it's just so corny. I think that the vocals are terrible on here. There's some neat guitar playing on it, I won't lie, but drumming, super bland, super basic. Bass, super bland, super basic. And outside of those very few and far between guitar solos that I think are okay, the guitar playing is also bland and basic. So that's why I think that AC/DC's High Voltage is the 13th worst album that I've ever heard in my life. At number 12, I'm going to be going with the 2024 meme, French Montana, Mac and Cheese, number 5. This is a really hilarious mixtape. If you have never heard music before in your life, this would be the best album you've ever heard in your life. If you never listened to music ever, you would think, wow, this is amazing. And you know what? I actually really hope that somebody's able to experience that. Somebody's able to experience this as their first ever album, because guess what? It only gets up from here. There is so many features on this album, and it really just feels like, I'm just going to paint this picture in your guys' head. It really feels like French Montana reached out to everybody. He's like, yo, I'm dropping another mixtape, guys. I need some features on it so they can sell. And they're like, oh, fuck, man. Sure, whatever. And then they just like spit whatever comes to mind within 5 minutes, and they just send it off and make their bag. Right? Like, this is just like, you know, congrats to all the feature artists for making money off of French Montana. It's just like hilarious. I love the fact that he released this like 5 times. I don't even know why he did that. It actually became somewhat of a trend in rap in 2024 to re-release your album 5 times with like slowed down, reverb, chopped and screwed. Like, I don't understand that trend, but it's a thing, I guess. I think it's really just for TikTok clicks, if I'm being honest. But yeah, Mac and Cheese 5 is atrocious. It's really funny, though. There's a lot of hilarious bars on here. Honestly, the intro had me fooled. The intro to Mac and Cheese 5, it starts off with this really beautiful, like, I can't even describe it. It's really gorgeous. I'm laughing saying this, but the intro to Mac and Cheese 5 is really beautiful. And then all of a sudden you hear French Montana come in with, ha, ha. And it's just like, what the fuck are we doing now? Yeah, just go give it a listen. It's a great time. At number 11, I have Eminem's Relapse. Yep. So this is the third time Eminem is on my bottom 25 list, and I promise you, it will not be the last time. Relapse is maybe the biggest disappointment I've ever heard in my life, because I really thought that after all the personal strife that Eminem went through after his overdose and his backpedaling away from the music industry for a while to work on himself, we would get a very introspective and character building moment from him on an album that should have really given us a lot of perspective on where he's been in the last 5 years. However, that's not what we got at all. Instead, we get Eminem rapping about, wanting to do very mean things to his mother and wanting to do mean things to women, and it's all just not good. It's not good. After the original Slim Shady LP and a little bit on Marshall Mathers, all of that where he raps about unconsensual acts just doesn't sit anymore. I think that this album has some of the most disgusting bars I've ever heard. You can just look them up there. I'm not even gonna repeat them. They're pretty fucking gross, but it's just not good. Like you start like, okay, I kind of fuck with this song. The song's going kind of hard. Eminem's rapping is not bad on this. The beat's okay. And then one of these just disgusting, I'll call them poop bars. It's not really poop, but you'll get what I mean if you listen to it. Yeah, one of those poop bars just comes on, and you're like, well, there goes that song. And that's every single song up until Beautiful, which Beautiful is a really good track. So it's way too long as well. This album is well over an hour long, almost 2 hours, and it was really a slog to get through. Now entering the 10 worst albums I've ever listened to, I have Logic with Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. This was rock bottom. This was really sad to see. As somebody who really enjoyed a lot of Logic's early work, like the Sinatra mixtapes and Under Pressure, I really just was very disheartened by the direction that his music was heading in after Everybody came out. He just became more and more popularized. It seemed like he was not really maintaining the same standard that he set at the beginning of his career. His lyrics were going downhill. He was becoming one of those corny lyrical miracles. And this album just really hit rock bottom for me. There's so many songs on here that are just bad. Just bad. It doesn't even sound like Logic's even trying anymore on this. He literally raps... I can't remember the exact lyrics, but it's something like, Sam I am, green eggs and ham. I'm like Dr. Seuss. I don't give a damn about lyrics. What are we doing? What are we doing now? It's not even like he's trying anymore. And this album really just made me sad, honestly, as a Logic fan. And so that's why I have this in my bottom 10. At number 9, I have French Montana, again with Excuse My French. Again, French Montana is hilarious. I love this dude because his music is so bad. But this album is just atrocious. What more can I say about it? It's pretty much everything I said about Mac and Cheese 5, except it's even worse because there's less features on it, and so therefore there's less of a chance that this album has any enjoyable aspects to it. At number 8, I have Big Sean's Finally Famous. This is another just really bad attempt at pop rap. It's kind of like Dreezy's Skitso. It's like attempt at like club bangers. You have just the most awful lyrics across this album from Big Sean. There's some terrible features on this. The production is just super corny. It's super washed out. There's barely any redeemable qualities about this. Big Sean is so irritating on this album. And I think that this is genuinely one of the worst debuts I have ever heard in my entire life. At number 7, I have Drake with Honestly Nevermind. This album was a complete failure at a shift in direction by Drake here. His attempt at making house music was not even an attempt. It just fell completely flat. It's bland. It's not good. If any of this came on at the club, I would walk out. I'm being so serious. I would go home or I'd find alcohol to drink so I can forget that I'm listening to Drake's Honestly Nevermind. I think that Jimmy Cooks tries its best to save this, but it's just such a sour attempt from Drake to switch up his style that I think that it really just is not good. It deserves being a bottom 10 album ever. At number 6, I have Ray Shremmerd's Shrem for Life. This is terrible as well. This is really awful. This album has some of the worst lyrics I've ever heard, ever. Straight up and down. This is like, if you can make a compilation of poop bars just off of this album right here, which is such a shame because I really did like Ray Shremmerd coming out in 2012 and 2015, that whole era. I didn't even think that Shrem Life 3 was that bad. I really think that album had some serious bangers on there that people were underrating. So I was, I still had hope for the duo, but all semblance of potential and musical artistry that was present in the earlier trap days of Ray Shremmerd is completely gone here. You don't even, it's not even like we're getting those really bad summer club banger attempts that Sway Lee was doing back in like 2018. No, it's just horrible SoundCloud trap, which there's nothing wrong with SoundCloud music in general, but bringing it back in 2023 was just such a sour move. I don't even think anybody even knew that this came out in 2023. Who listening to this knew that there was a Shrem Life 4? Because I don't think anybody does. I talk about this album with people and they don't even recognize, they don't even know that this thing dropped. That's how bad this album was. It just hit no waves. At least with Shrem Life 3, there was like Perplexing Pegasus was like a song that people knew existed. Like Power Glide, people knew that existed. But like Shrem for Life just was the total nail in the coffin for Ray Shremmerd as a duo for me. Which is really disappointing because, again, I do think that they had some potential. At number 5, I have Chance the Rapper, The Big Day. You all knew this was going to be on here. This was just corn. It's just is like Chance the Rapper really fell off with this. I've never seen an album kill a man's career like this one did. Well, maybe Post Malone and Hollywood's Bleeding, but this album really killed Chance the Rapper's career. He's making a slight comeback now, which is good to see. But just the fact that he was like roasting his fans on Twitter and just all the pretentious attitude that was on this album. Like, again, Chance the Rapper's always been the I'm too big to fail type of guy. This was just not good. This was just showing all the flaws with Chance the Rapper as an artist that were kind of masked up by some interesting artistic direction. As soon as that artistic direction vanished with his popularity, he just created just a trash heap of an album. This was really bad. Hot Shower still haunts me in my dreams. At number 4, I have Lil Wayne's debut, The Block is Hot. I feel really bad putting this one on here because this is obviously like a sort of like a passion project sort of thing. This came out before like the Carter and everything. This came out in 1999, and it obviously had a lot of features that were just like Lil Wayne's friends or some shit. You can't really hate on him too much for this, but really this is just awful. Everybody's offbeat. The beats are offbeat. I can't even how do you even do that? How do you even have beats that are offbeat? Somehow he makes it work. The snares are never hitting on the third or anywhere. It's all offbeat. The hi-hats are offbeat. Lil Wayne's rapping's offbeat. The features are offbeat. The melodies are offbeat. The melodies are bad. All the instrumentals are just ear grating. It's just genuinely one of the hardest listens I've ever had to get through. But I do think that Lil Wayne did provide enough character and charisma to make this not the worst album ever. This was a tough one. I'm really happy that Lil Wayne was able to recover after this because I don't know if my ears will. At number 3, I have Falling in Reverse, Drugging Me As You. This is another god-awful project. Wow. This is not just bad. This is offensively bad. There is so much wrong with this album and this style of music that I don't even know where to begin. I know that people really enjoy Falling in Reverse, but I will never understand that. How? Genuinely how? Please, if you are a Falling in Reverse fan, write to me in the comments what you love about them because I do not see it. He's not funny, right? The singer's not funny. He's not a good singer. He's not a good rapper. The guitar is just loud to be loud. It's just trying to be loud, and there's nothing good about it. There is no chemistry in here. There's nothing redeeming about this album. It is just being loud for the sake of being loud. It's being edgy for the sake of being edgy. It's honestly, it's sexist. There's just so much wrong here, right? It's misogynist. The lyrics on this album are just honestly gross. And again, it's just corny. It's so corny. I don't understand. What is the appeal of Falling in Reverse? They have nothing going for me, but this is such a popular album. I don't understand it. This is the third worst album I've ever heard, and I will stand by that take until the day I die. At number 2, I have Lil Xan, Total Xanarchy. Another one that you guys probably were expecting to be on this list. This is just terrible. This literally, I've never actually seen an album kill a genre like Total Xanarchy did to SoundCloud rap. You can literally see the ripple effect that this had and in the whole genre. Shortly after this, 21 Savage switched up his flow. Lil Uzi Vert stopped making music. Playboi Carti defined his sound more. Lil Yachty fell off. I mean, just go down the list. Every single SoundCloud rapper completely ditched the genre after Total Xanarchy came out, because this really showed what everybody was thinking, and that is that mumble rappers, and I say this like that because I really do hate the term mumble rappers, but this is what everybody was thinking at the time, that mumble rappers who have these one-hit wonders, they blow up on SoundCloud, whether it's by luck or it's their producer who does it for them, cannot put together full studio albums. And really, I think that take is somewhat invalid, but this album really reinforced that, and it just exploded the hate for mumble rap in general. And this album did so much bad to the rap community that I could make an entire video explaining, like, step by step how this album completely changed the direction that rap was heading in. But in general, it's definitely for the worse. This album is one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. As far as the music goes, it's ear grating. Lil Xan is so annoying on this entire project. It's really hard to listen to. It really is. If it weren't for the singles that he blew up on, like Slingshot and Betrayed, this would be the most garbage pile of trash ever created, ever. At number 1, I have, to nobody's surprise, Eminem's Revival. Where do I even start with this album? How in the world are you, Eminem, one of the richest rappers in the world who has all these connections in the industry, going to put out an album that is so poorly produced, so poorly mixed? The lyrics are terrible. The performances are terrible. The songwriting is terrible. The structure of the album is terrible. There's nothing good about this album. Not one single thing. And I think that this is worse than all the albums that I have before it, because again, the chain of events that it caused to tank the rap industry for, the next several years. Without Revival, there wouldn't be hate towards Eminem. Without the hate towards Eminem, there wouldn't be Eminem dissing everybody. Without Eminem dissing everybody, there wouldn't be that disgusting collection of rap listeners who hate mumble rappers, or as I should say, any rapper that isn't white, and only liked lyrical miracle rappers. There was such a large chain reaction that created such disgusting subgenres of fan bases in the rap community that really just had no place at all. They were just attacking every single rapper, not named specifically by Eminem. I even have people saying that Kendrick Lamar is a mumble rapper because Eminem says, everybody is a mumble rapper that isn't him or Joyner Lucas or Logic, which, what a crowd to pick from right there, right? This is just awful. This album is terrible. It's Eminem rapping about doing the doodles with other people, but in a very corny way, and it's just got horrible features. It's maybe the worst performances by every single artist on this album, whether it be X-Ambassadors, whether it be Ed Sheeran, whether it be Beyonce, whether it be Pink, whether it be anybody on this album. Everybody contributes to making this horrible pile of dog shit that I hope I never have to listen to ever again. Anyways, enough doom and gloom. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me out for about 30 minutes. This was a bit of a longer video because I really wanted to discuss these albums more in depth. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys don't entirely disagree with my list. Again, let me know in the comments your least favorite album you've ever listened to. My name is Garland. I'm the king of bad takes, and hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. See ya.